That is a wonderful new book that's out, designed especially for the adults reading to the children, however that might be. This is Yoshi Shiraki, and he is the author, along with your wife was the illustrator, yes? And
Correct.
Your mom was the co-writer of this.
Correct.
This is the book, My Body's Just For Me, and it's addressing, let's talk about the topic. What is it?
It's addressing a tricky topic, the prevention of sexual abuse. It's kind of that taboo topic that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to even put these thoughts in their children's head, and it's just a really tricky issue that when my mother, basically, when I guess I should say my sister had her first child, my mother wanted to educate my nieces on the prevention of sexual abuse, and so she actually sent me to the bookstore, Barnes and Nobles, to look for a book like this. And the sad thing was, amazingly, there was nothing like it. And
like
so,
an interactive book, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There were a lot of books that parents could buy to read to themselves and then introduce it to the children, but none that could break the ice to read to your child. And so basically we wrote it ourselves. My wife did the illustrations. We stapled it together. And then what had happened is my mother's friends was saying, Eva, this book needs to be addressed to more than just your grandkids.
Right.
And so we sought out the help of Richard Paul Evans, and he helped us actually get it published.
I was reading these stats before I show you some pictures in here. 1 in 4 females.
Yes.
1 in 4 females are sexually abused, and 1 in 6 males. That means, you think about it, in your neighborhood, 1 in 4 of the little girls in the neighborhood have probably been sexually abused at some point. And also, you were mentioning in your notes that it's not just the stranger. We don't need to talk to our kids it's the stranger. It could oftentimes be people they know or family members.
Correct.
And one of the things, I was looking through your book, it's written in a rhyming sequence, which makes it interesting for children. And it feels like it's a story time, because it is. Not your teacher, your coach, or even a church member, not your relatives or friends, you must remember. Here's the illustrations here talking about the subject of what we're saying here. Here's another one that I like. Let's see if I can you read it for me? I can't read it upside down.
Yeah, sure. If they say it is a secret between you and them, if they scare you with threats, then they are no friend.
So you're teaching not only that word, this word secret, like, because you hear that all the time on reports. It's our little secret, don't tell anyone. And then the kids, kids are loyal, and they usually do shut down and they won't talk about it, but then you're saying they're not a friend. And so you're making awareness that this is the language that. Also, I wanted to talk about the design. This is designed to be the icebreaker, right?
Correct.
For this subject.
Yes.
Yeah, and so are you also trying to get this out to schools?
We are. We have presented it to some schools, and there's this whole we have to think about it approval process, and so we're just in that waiting process to see if it's something that they'll introduce to the school.
I think also you have a good point in that. As when we live in this society, we can go online, register our address, right, and it
Correct.
will pull up a map that basically says if there's any sex offenders in your neighborhood. Is that how it
Correct.
works?
Yes. There's a website, www.familywatchdog.us. It's actually pretty scary. You type in your home address, and then it pulls up a map of your neighborhood, and then all these little dots will appear of registered sex offenders. And the map is covered. If you pull up Salt Lake, the map is covered. And the reason that's important is if, and some people are like, well, I don't want to know if my neighbors are a registered sex offender. But if you did, maybe it's the father of a friend of your daughter, or maybe it's not. It's just a guy who lives 5 houses down. You're going to be far more aware of where your children are if you were aware of who in the neighborhood is a registered sex offender.
Well, you just want to know. Anytime that your kids go out to play, you want to know if there's sleepovers or after school, activities. You just have to be aware.
Exactly.
I think we just have to be aware. And I love that this book it's easy to read. It's simple. It's thick enough pages that your kids can turn the pages. They can be a part of it. And it is talking about the subject that, we as parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles or anybody that has children in your life that you care about is something that we do need to talk about. We do need to make sure that they are educated on.
Exactly.
And this is such a beautiful, wonderful way. If you're thinking, I want to get a hold of this book, how can people get a hold of it?
You can actually go to protectourangels.com. You can also go to mybodiesjustforme.com, and it's also on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, so there's the info right there. If you're thinking, I don't remember what he just said, don't worry, just go to our website at forutah.com. Click on Good Things Utah. We will have this segment up, and we will have all the information. Such a good thing. Yoshi, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us. I want to to go home. It doesn't make you want to just like, okay, kids, gather around. I need to talk to you right now. Because it makes me want to make sure I get it all out there. But thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much for having me.
Glenn?
All right, coming up next, we need to find a good home for our little friend here. Pet of the Week is up next.